Hey guys, how's it going? It's Alpha here. Thanks for joining for another Puzzle and Dragons video. Today I'm actually cranking out two videos in one day, and that is because we just received what I feel is one of the biggest, most significant updates that Puzzle and Dragons has gotten in an extremely long time, and that is, I guess, version 8.6. And I'm going to go through just some of the kind of new stuff that we're getting in here. It's just really cool, and I thought it deserved its own video, even if it's just a brief few minutes for highlights. So for one thing, multiplayer. So they're finally bringing multiplayer to what has up to this point been a single-player game. Now there's an amazing community behind Puzzle and Dragons, which really kind of drives lots of the fun and competitiveness and stuff like that. But this is the first time you're being able to tackle dungeons along with a friend. So I'll definitely be doing some multiplayer content at some point soon, and possibly even during streams. If you hop on some of my camcorder streams, you could join up and do multiplayer. We could do multiplayer together. So it's really cool. The way the system works is you create a room first, and then someone else with the room code will join in. Both players have to pay the stamina, but there's some lower stamina descends and stuff that you could do, and I think they even put them on half stamina at some point in the near future. At least they did in the Japanese server. Um, so it was pretty cool. And actually, there's some new awoken skills and leader skills. So this is kind of more. Well, the God Killer is a big one. For those that don't know, the Awoken Archdemon series of Lucifer. That form, which is not out in North America yet, but is an amazing lead for Arena 2, and he has the God Killer stat. And since most of the final bosses you face are gods, and you can find their typing on puzzleanddragonx.com, but the ones that are gods obviously get a boost in attacks. That's pretty cool. This is probably the biggest one right here. 3-minute stamina. It's just huge. That means that every hour you're going to be getting 20 stamina instead of 12. That is so much more. And I'm sure someone will do the math sometime soon, but it really changes some of the mathematics and efficiencies behind farming. What levels it is most efficient to farm certain dungeons, things like that, because once you take into account stamina refreshing as you're running the dungeon, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more feasible to continually run through certain dungeons that give high experience, such as the Metalit dungeon. I know gives a lot of experience for stamina. And then, really, I think it's going to come down more to dungeons like Ocean of Heaven and King of the Gods, where they're lower stamina dungeons, so you're going to be getting a bunch of runs in on your natural stamina, and then as you kind of continually refresh, you'll be able to hit rank ups and continue to run the dungeons indefinitely to farm ranks, to farm fodder, all that sort of stuff. So it's really, really a pretty big deal. This is one of the biggest things. Let's see, ranking dungeon crown achievements. That just means that the people that are really big whales get a little, shiny star next to their name. It's cool. I think it's the top 1%. The top 1% get it. So I don't think that'll be next to my name anytime soon. New evolutions and power ups. Let's see this stuff. Okay, so new enemy monster information added. That's cool because again, you have to know what typing they are because I'm assuming there's going to be more than just God Killer awakenings, Dragon Killer, things like that, possibly. So knowing what type the boss is, the major fights, kind of adds another element into the whole thing. So that's pretty cool. Various bug fixes and improvements. That is awesome. Yeah. Now, I wanted to just go to the end before we hop into this because some of this stuff is pretty cool. No one cares about that guy. No one cares about him. No one cares about him. Okay, leader skill changes here. These are kind of neat. It just adds an extra type that they can defend against. So that's kind of cool. It's nothing too wild for these guys. They're used as leads a lot more to kind of like cheese through some dungeons, like Minerva. She's really good in what's the one? The zombie dragon, or it's like dragon type only, something like that. She's very strong in that dungeon, and Venus has her applications. So the first big one right here, Lakshmi, she gets an increase in her attack multiplier. So it used to be a 2 times increase when you match 5 heart orbs. She has set multipliers for water, for attack and recovery, but now you're also getting a scaled attack multiplier with her heal orb. So 4 heal will get you 1.5, 5 will get you the 2, which is what it used to be, but now 6 gets you 2.5, which doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but when you put together two different Lakshmi leaders getting the boost, plus the fact they're going to be dealing with combos and all the other multipliers, it actually is a pretty significant increase. And what I also feel is a really kind of cool buff are the Chinese gods. They become a lot more viable for earlier players. So before, your attack multiplier, like let's just use Lei Lan as an example, fire, wood, and light. So that is, it's not too hard to hit that often, but without the right subs, you can run out of those orbs. If you have to use at least 3 of each on every turn to attack, you're going to have to be doing quite a few combos to continually generate the fire, wood, and light that you need to get an attack. And without the right subs that can create those orbs, you're going to run short. So one of the cool things is all of these leads now get hearts to activate with as well. So that will also allow you to not only get your attacks in a lot easier, but obviously allow you to heal while you're doing the attacks, so you can conserve certain types of orbs. Like let's say you're not matching your greens this time, but you have them for next time. And it also adds more diversity to the sort of subs she could use, because she's not going to be quite as orb hungry. So it really kind of makes them a lot more user friendly for newer players for all of these. Well, I guess these 4. Obviously, the light Chinese god is Sakuya, who is a 4 orb match for a higher multiplier. And these guys, I'm kind of interested in these cards. They used to just give an HP multiplier for healers, and now they also have a higher attack. So, well, I guess some didn't just do that, but it looks like, I guess, oh, that's Awoken Astaroth up at the top. Yeah, she got a buff as well. I was thinking of these guys right here, the sticker girls, I guess they're called, healer girls. So they used to just buff the hit points of healers, but now they also have an attack multiplier. And I've seen some people run some of the Christmas delay cards, which were all healers, which I think had some similar leader skills, and I believe someone with a lot of patience actually cleared arena with it. But it kind of, again, for newer players, you're going to have this huge HP pool, and then you also have the ability to crank out some higher attacks, because these guys all create hearts, and now they have an attack boost with hearts. And this is just amazing for anyone that is mid-game or further. You're having a max skilled monster is the difference between clearing a dungeon and dying a lot of the times. Being able to cycle through active skills. You always hear me saying that in my videos, that using active skills early and often really kind of solidifies your clear rates. And what used to happen was you get any of these, the chasers, the fairies, or the bowl creature things, and you'd have to level them up and then evolve them just to make them get the active skill, which would correspond to a skill up. So at this point, you could just run the dungeon, have them drop, and they'll be able to, you'll be able to get your opportunity to skill up, which will probably not happen. But it's at least slightly less frustrating than it was previous. So this is actually, it's really huge because if you're able to get, so these are the Chinese gods, not in their awoken form. These are the hero cards. And then the final are, I don't know what the Pantheon's called, but it's the knights that boost up god typing and whatever else, attack type, god type, balance type, all that kind of stuff. So I have the blue one, which is Muse or Muse. I don't know all the other ones, but anyways, it's pretty huge. This is one of the biggest updates we've gotten, and I just thought it I mean, they boosted up a bunch of stats here too. I'm not going to go through everything, and then I'm sure somewhere as soon as you get to the comments, they'll be complaining that there's no Dragon Ball Z collab. That's just what happens in the Facebook comments. Anyways, guys, I just thought it was kind of worth going over some of the awesome new updates that we got in the version 8.6. It's pretty cool. We get to run co-op. We get a whole bunch of new stuff. So make sure you, I mean, obviously, if you're playing every day, you have the update already because you need it just to log in. But I will be doing some co-op soon, so maybe we'll do some co-op together. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.